Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to Phenomenal STEMist. My name is Dr. Byfield, and I am ready to talk about the last installment of A Parent's Guide to Developing a Successful STEM Student. And truthfully, the parent's job is over. This is about people who want to go to the university level. I'm talking about people who want to go to the university level when it comes to STEM. But even in the broad range, period, do I want to go to university? What does it take for me to get into university? Should I go to the university level? Graduate school is also what we call it. I really want us to delve into this process. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between our brain and animals. The difference between our brain and animals. We are talking about how our brain works from the university level until. So in classic education, college ends, we call this undergraduate school, ends if a student goes straight through at 22 years old, 22 to 23 to 24, nowadays 25, 26. I suggest that students finish undergraduate school quickly. Okay, excuse me. Finish undergraduate school quickly, meaning don't stay forever. Don't stay forever. Have a plan and be done with it within 4 years. So if your child starts college at 18, they should be done between 22 and 23 years old. So when I say university, I'm talking about at the level of, or at the age of 22 to 23 years old, you starting. Now that's not necessarily typical. People can go to graduate school at all levels, all times of the year. So how is your brain working from the age of 22 and beyond? How is your brain working? So look at the picture here. You see a group of animals, like a rat, a dog, a monkey, a chimp. Look at the size of their brain as compared to specifically their cerebrum, which I told you before has gray and white matter. It is a difference maker between the human. Even a 4-week-old human. Look at the size of a 4-week-old human compared to a chimpanzee or compared to a rat. We just have bigger cerebrums or cerebral cortexes. And we've been learning a lot about, I hope that you remember all the things I've taught you about the cerebral cortex and how it develops. Look as it goes to adolescence. You learned about how it grows to adolescence. You learned about how the gray matter is developing, and then the white matter transitions and starts to develop, all the way to your early 20s, where you have this master brain, this brain that is at full capacity in the age ranges of late teens, early 20s. So truthfully, I really believe this is the time that you go to a graduate school. I believe I'm a straight through type of girl. Nowadays, people don't say that, but I really believe you should. The faults that many students have when they go through can be rectified. So we'll talk about that. But early 20s is where your brain is really actively working. So after around 40, your brain is covered by or protected by your skull. And if you remember when you were a baby or your child's baby had little soft spots in them, the skull had not fully fused. Why? Because the brain had to grow. But now the brain is no longer growing. It is just connecting with itself. So by the age of 40, Lord help me, I will be turning 40 in May. By the age of 40, all of the bones have fully fused around the early 40s. The bones, there are no longer any more soft spots. The bones fuse together. that really says, I think, that the brain has no longer any more capacity to grow, and it really goes downhill from there. I don't want to upset the 40, 50, and 60, 70-year-olds, but the reality is your brain begins to degenerate once it fully develops. That is called the aging process. And so I advise people to use it or lose it. You have to keep your brain active to slow the degeneration process. We call that neurodegeneration. Look at that last brain. It's getting it's losing cells. You're seeing more holes present in them. Yeah. You're losing your gray matter. All that time you spent developing that gray matter in your early childhood, it's going away. They say once an adult, twice a child. It is true. It is true. So you need to use your brain or lose your brain. Look for risk factors. Do you have dementia in your family? Do you have Alzheimer's in your family? Understand that with those risk factors, I don't want to say in your family, everybody's brain will degenerate, okay? We all will die someday. But look for risk factors of early dementia or early Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. These are all diseases of neurodegeneration. It's very important as you're in your early adulthood, late adulthood, middle adulthood, to look for risk factors. All right? So another thing that causes neurodegeneration is stress. So you don't want to stress yourself to the place where you start losing your brain cells. You don't want to take any type of toxic substances that will cause you to lose your brain cells. Why? You're just by not taking these toxic drugs, by not stressing your mind and your body, you will prolong neurodegeneration. You can prolong it. How? By keeping your brain active and by not being stressed or taking toxic substances. Okay? So let's now move on to graduate school. What is it? Should I go? Should you go to graduate school? I hear that a lot. Maya, should I go back to get my Ph.D.? Listen, I believe the only time you go to graduate school is for specialization. Do not go if graduate school is not required of you. Think about it. Don't just go because you want numbers of letters behind your name. Don't waste time and lots of money. If you need a doctorate degree for your career to progress, yes. If you need a master's degree for your career to progress, absolutely. But ask yourself honestly, do I need it for my career to progress, or do I need to change certain behaviors in my life for my career to progress? Ask yourself, if I change certain behaviors in my life for my career to progress, will I really need graduate school? If the answer is no, then you need to just change behaviors in your life to progress in your field. Do not just go to school just to get a job. No, please don't do that. Make sure it's paid by someone else. Make sure it's paid by someone else. Do not go into massive amounts of debt for an education level higher than undergrad. I repeat, do not have people come to you soliciting you to go to their school for you to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars unless you have somebody else paying for it. So if you're coming straight out of college, you need to have scholarships, stipends, etc. For instance, with me, that was a defining point in my life when I found out that I did not have to pay for college tuition. And at that time, that was in 2000. So that was 17 years ago. 17 years ago, they offered me full tuition paid. And at that time, it was $28,000 a year. Now, undergraduate schools are like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. To point this out, I really believe that you can go to college without having to go to a university. University, I believe, is for graduate school. Go to liberal arts colleges, even state colleges for undergrad. Do not go to a big university for undergrad, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for an undergraduate degree. Universities belong for the graduates. This is just my take, because it's very expensive to go to school. And you're going to be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for both undergraduate and graduate? Oh no. I'm going to have a talk about financially paying for school. This is going to be my next series, how to prepare financially to be a STEM student. They not only waived my tuition, they gave me $25,000 a year to go to school. That was such a defining moment for me. Please, only go if it's required of you for specialization. And when you go, have someone else pay for it. So if you do get a job and don't go straight through, then use your career or your job benefits for education. There are a lot of jobs or companies that are willing to pay for your education. Use them to pay for your education. Please. Do not go into debt for education. It's definitely not graduate education. All right, so what's the process? What's the process? How do I get into graduate school? All right. Ask yourself, what is my plan? What is my plan to go to graduate school? Why am I going? Why am I? If I don't have a plan and a reason to go to graduate school, do not go to graduate school. It cannot be because I'm not working. That cannot be the reason. Okay? It cannot be because I want more money. That cannot be the reason. There has to be a goal in mind, and you know that graduate school is going to help you accomplish that goal. So what do you need? You need to have done really well in college, especially in the STEM fields. Many of the STEM fields require graduate school. Many of them require at least a master's degree to really succeed. And so you have to really be thinking about graduate school when you are in undergrad. You have to at least have a magna cum laude average, at least. I'm not saying if you have less, you can't, but when you have that kind of average, those are usually the people who pay for you to go to school. They were like, okay, we will pay you this much to come to our school. If you have less than the magna cum laude, then you're going to be paying for graduate school out of your own pocket. All right. So do excellent in undergrad. After you do excellent in undergrad, consider preparing for standardized tests. Most STEM fields require a standardized test for you to get into graduate school, and they require excellent scores if they think they want to pay for it. So you may have to start preparing for these tests, right? You have the GRE. Not only do you have the GRE, the STEM fields have specialized GRE. So I had to take the biology GRE. There's a biochemistry GRE. There's an engineering GRE. So you not only have to take the graduate, I don't know what GRE stands for, but it's an admissions test for graduate school. And then you have to take the specialized GRE on top of that. So I had to take 2 GREs and do well in them. Those of you who want to go to medical school have to take an MCAT. Those who want to go to dental school have to take the DAT. These are all standardized tests. You can't get away from it. What I want students to do is accept the fact that you have to take these tests and prepare for them. Prepare for them. Don't get upset to say that, these tests don't define who I am. I'm much smarter than these tests represent me as. I totally get that. But this is the system, this is the process, so you have to excel. So prepare. There are lots of these Kaplan or other types of preparatory programs to prepare you for these tests. I admonish you to do that because you're going to need high scores. Another thing is that you have to really go back to what I've taught you in the past about calming your spirit. I told parents this from the ages of early childhood. You cannot make your child be nervous when it comes to learning. You start this process of making them nervous when it comes to learning in young ages, they will continually be nervous all throughout their childhood, all throughout their adulthood when it comes to learning. Test anxiety is a real thing. When you are anxious, you are afraid, and your brain does not think to solve problems when it comes to learning when there's a fear or there's something dangerous in the environment. The first thing that you're going to do when you are afraid is to either run or fight, but you're not going to sit and try to analyze the situation. So what you have to do is make sure that you remove fear from yourself. All right? You have to be prepared to take very hard courses that are core to preparation in this school. So I had to take biochemistry, I had to take molecular biology. These are usually medical school that take gross anatomy. You need to be prepared for these intense courses, but still have a calm spirit. It's kind of weird. All right. And lastly, if you haven't learned how to network in college, you have to learn how to network in university level. Graduate school cannot be a place where you say, well, I have my master's, I have my Ph.D., give me a job because I've done this. That's not enough. It's the same mindset. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Networking is imperative in graduate school. You will not have a job. And it will be very difficult to get a job if you haven't networked after graduate school, because what they'll say to you is you're overqualified. That will be a common answer to people who have focused on just getting an education and wanting a job without any networking skill. They will tell you you are overqualified, and it will be harder for you to get a job than somebody who has less education than yourself. So if you're going to graduate school, you have to learn how to network. Okay, that is the process of graduate school. All right, I'll close with this. This concept of calm spirit. This concept of calm spirit comes from my faith. Now, I cannot end this series without talking about my faith in God in terms of his role in the beginning of my life to the role of the end of my life. God has been essential in terms of guidance, in terms of directing me as to where I should go, what schools I should go, what classes I should take. He has been essential, totally essential in my path. Number one. Number two, he has been essential in giving me a calm spirit. He has given me a calm spirit to handle the intense coursework throughout my college and graduate years. See, with graduate school, especially in the sciences, it's really not about how much you know or how smart you are. It is your ability to endure. It is your ability to endure stressful situations with a calm spirit for learning. And the endurance that you have comes from a peace of mind. I went to Albert Einstein College of Medicine, and it was a very great school in New York City. I got to shout my school out. I don't know if you can see it. I'm wearing scrubs today in honor of Albert Einstein College of Medicine. It was intense. I graduated after 6 years, 2 years master's, 4 years Ph.D. And it required not just me being smart, it required me having a peace. And that peace came from my faith in God. Lastly, I was able to enjoy graduate school. I had joy. God was so much a part of my life that nothing that came against me mattered. I still had a peace of mind, and I was still happy in the midst of the stress. And I attribute that all to my faith, 100% to my faith. So I encourage people, if you're going to go to the levels of graduate school where it's very intense, it is so important that you find something or someone that gives you a peace that surpasses what you could understand or what you're dealing with. And that one for me is my Heavenly Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. All right, so thanks so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the series. Look out for some books that I'm trying to create in the process. But before I talk about myself, I have one more series to do that's dealing with how to financially prepare for a STEM career. And it's going to be a series just like this, maybe 2 or 3 instead of 5 Facebook Lives. But I want to close with this. It costs so much money. And there are so many African Americans that want to go to graduate school and they can't. This is one of my favorite charities that I give to, especially for those who are trying to financially clear for graduation. There is a special fund from the United Negro College Fund that is solely to get seniors, graduating seniors that want to go on and usually a lot of times go on to graduate school, go on to university. They can't afford to graduate, much less go on to graduate schools, universities. So these funds actually clear them. They clear them for graduation. That's who I give to. I've been asking you to just give to charities based on what I've done to these 5 weeks or 5 or 6 weeks. Just if I've blessed you, I ask that you bless others, especially monetarily. They need it. The United Negro College Fund. There's so many African Americans that want to succeed. I hope that you can give to them. All right. I'm going to look out for questions. I didn't see that much people join. Yeah, I don't see any questions here. So, thank you all. I guess nobody wants to go to university. Most parents care about their kids. University level is about themselves. So, share this if you've been blessed. Thanks so much.